Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayi. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second Canto, chapter 5, verse number 30. Lord Brahma is continuing to explain how the universe was created, and this is in response to the questions which were raised by Sri Narada, and how the universe has come into existence, where does it stand, how long, where it got dissolved. So he started saying that it is Lord who accepts Maya, which consists of three modes of nature, and then with the help of time, karma and swabhav, the disposition of things and the destiny of the living beings, he brings out transformation in the unmanifest prakriti or pradhan. And first there is Mahat Tattva, and then there is Ahankar in three modes, and from Ahankar in the mode of Tamas there comes the five elements, which have five causal elements and five qualities. So then next are the Devatas from Satvik. There are 10 senses, 5 working senses and 5 senses of cognition, and there are 10 deities for those 10 senses. So these things become manifest from Ahankar in the mode of goodness, and that is being described in verse number 30. Vaikarikan manojagye daiva vaikarika dasha digvatarka pracheto ashwini vanni indro upendra mitraka. Says that from Ahankar or ego in the mode of goodness, there is mind which comes. Mind is product from Ahankar, and it is in the mode of goodness. And the 10 residing deities, they are the deities from the directions, the air, sun and Varuna, two Aswani Kumaras, fire, Indra, Upendra and Mitra and Prajapati. So these are the 10 deities, and mind also signifies the deity of mind. But actually there are 11 senses, mind is the internal sense, so there are 11 deities, and they all become manifest from the mode of goodness. Because these presiding deities, they are like the witnesses of the actions of a particular sense. And from the ego in the mode of tamas, there are 10 senses which become manifest. So that is described in verse 31. Tajashattu vikurvanad indriyani dasha bhavan jnana shakti kriya shakti buddhi pranasya tajasau Shrotram Tvagrani Driga Jivha Vagador Medhrangri Payava. Says that from the ego in the mode of passion, Rajas, there are 10 senses which become manifest. And these 10 senses are divided in two groups. The senses of action and senses of knowledge. And they come from prana and taijasa, and they have jnana shakti and kriya shakti. So buddhi pranascha tejasa. Buddhi signifies jnana shakti, intellect. So intellect is born from ego in the mode of passion, and prana which gives power to the working senses. It is also born from ego in the mode of passion. So buddhi signifies jnana shakti, or the power to acquire knowledge, and prana signifies kriya shakti, the power to act with the working senses. So these are the two types of energies which manifest from rajas, and they give power to the senses, because senses as such are actually made from matter, material elements, like the eye is made from fire, the ear is made from the sky, the nose from earth, tongue from water, and skin from the air. But they function by Jnana Shakti. And then we have hands, legs, and so on, the five working senses. So they work because of the Prana Shakti. So therefore, if Prana is disturbed, then senses will not work, the working senses. Sometimes people get this paralysis. So in paralysis, in Ayurveda, it is considered as a disease of Vata, the air disturbed. That particular air becomes disturbed, and then the hand or leg becomes paralyzed. So it is also described here that this prana and buddhi, they are both product of mode of passion. And buddhi means jnana shakti, or power to know, and prana means kriya shakti, power to work.
Kriya means action. Kriya means like action. Action is kriya.
Kriya means action. Sotam, and then he gives the list. Sotram is ear, twak, skin, ground, nose, brick, eye, jiva, tongue. Walk is speech, though hands. Midra is the sense of procreation, hungry. Feet and payu is a sense of evacuation. So these are the 10 senses. And besides this, sometimes they say, what about stomach? Because you do work with your hand, with your feet, with your mind and tongue and so on. But if you don't digest food, then nothing will happen. So these are voluntary things. Digestion or blood circulation is happening, but it also work. Kriya, there is need for prana for that also. So those things are happening automatically, there is no control on them. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, he comments, Vaikarikat Sattvic Ahankarat. Sattvic Ahankar is also called Vikara, because it does not undergo changes. Mana Shabdeneva tad adhisthata chandroapi drashtavya. The word mana in this verse number 30 also signifies moon, which is the presiding deity of mind. And Devene eva aha, then he gives the list of the devas or demigods which are born. Disascha, Vatascha, Arkascha, Pracheta, Varunascha, Asmanuscha, Ete, Pancha, Shrotra, Tvak, Chakshu, Jivha, Grananam, Adhisthata. So there is the directions, the deities of the direction, Disha, and they preside over the ear, Shrotra. And then there is air god. It presides over the tvacha, the sense of touch. And then sun is the presiding deity of the eyes. So if you have weak eyes, then you have to get power from the sun. The eyes will be cured. And Pracheta is water, Varuna Devata. He is the presiding deity of tongue. You cannot taste anything unless it is wet. So that's why you have to eat, and then water comes, it gets mixed, then only there is taste. If something is completely dry, you cannot taste it. To taste, you have to make it wet. So tongue is always wet. So Varuna is the god. Then Ashwani, these two brothers, they are the presiding deity of the nose, fragrance. Then Vanyascha, Indrascha, Upendrascha, Mitrascha, Kah Prajapatischa, Ete, Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upasthana. Says Vanni or fire. Fire is the presiding deity of speech. If you want to get power in your speech, then you have to eat things which have fire in it, like ghee. So the singers, they like to eat, Indian singers, they like to eat ghee and butter. So that gives energy, because speaking takes a lot of power. And then Indra, he is the presiding deity of the hand. If you want to do some painting, then you have to propitiate Indra. Then Upendra, he is the presiding deity of feet. So there are different opinions about who is this Upendra. Upendra is the name of Vamandev, who was younger brother of Indra. So some people say that here Upendra is not that Upendra, Vamandev, but he is some other deity. Because Vishnu is not the presiding deity of the feet. But others say that he is the same one. Then Mitra, he is the presiding deity of the science of evacuation, and Prajapati is the presiding deity of procreative organ. So these are the 5 deities of the 5 working senses, and the previous one were for the 5 cognitive senses. Then it says Tejasat Rajas Ahankarat Dasa Bhavan. And from Tejas, or the Ahankar, the mode of passion, came out the 10 senses. Tatra Pancha Jnana Shakti Buddhi, Pancha Kriya Shakti Prana. So the 5, they have the power for knowledge, which is signified by the word Buddhi. The word Buddhi is used for both. It is used for knowledge, and it is also used for the power to get knowledge, the cause of knowledge. So here the word Buddhi signifies the power for knowledge. In Nyaya, the word Buddhi is always used for knowledge. Although usually Buddhi is translated as intellect or intelligence, but in Nyaya Shastra, Buddhi always means knowledge. It is a synonym of Gyan. But here in Bhagavatam, Buddhi means the power to know. So even if you have your senses, you may have your eyes and your ears and nose, and you can sense things, but you will not have knowledge if you don't have Buddhi. So you can hear sound, but if you don't have Buddhi, you will not understand what it means. Or you can see things around you, but you will not understand what it is. Or you can taste things and you cannot figure out what it is what are the ingredients. So that is the job of buddhi. That is called Gyan Shakti, the power to give you knowledge. Not only just that you need a sense, you also need the power. So that comes from Rajas. Otherwise, a child is there, he also has the senses, and his senses may be more powerful than an old person. He can hear better, he can feel better, but he cannot understand. So that is because he does not have buddhi. His buddhi is not very developed yet. And as his buddhi develops, he gets more power, then he can understand things better. Buddhi pranam tu tejasa. Buddhi and prana, they are tejasa. Ataha pancha shrotradev buddhi vishesha. So these 5 senses beginning from shrotra, ears, eyes, nose, and sense of touch, sense of smell. These are buddhi vishesha. They have the power to know things. Panch vagadaya prana vishesha. And the other 5, they depend on the power of prana. Now there is one problem in this description, and the problem is about the prana. Because what is prana is air. You know these 5 types of pranas: prana, pan, samana, vyana, dana. So these are the airs. And air was one of the 5 material elements. We read in yesterday's description that from ego in tamas came out ether or sky, and then from that came out air. So air, and here it is said that prana is a manifestation from ego in the mode of passion. So what is the difference between these two? There also it is air, it is called vayu. Here you are just giving it another name, prana, and saying that it is coming from tejas or ego in the mode of passion. So is it coming from the mode of passion or is it coming from the mode of ignorance? That is the question. So on this also there are 2 opinions. Madhvacharya, Vallabhacharya, they say that prana is different from vayu. Means this prana shakti which is mentioned here, or that which gives power to our senses, the life air, this is different. It is not just air, but it is a different element, it is a different type of power. And that air which is blowing outside, which we see, it is different. And therefore, one is coming from the mode of passion and the other is coming from mode of ignorance. This is their opinion. But the others, they say that actually there is no difference. Prana is also air. You know it very well. You do pranayam. So how do you do pranayam? Control your life air. Hold it. Or breathe from one nostril, release from the other one. Or breathe fast. Do Bhastrika pranayam, whatever. So, but this is only air. It's coming from outside, only entering your nostril. Just because it enters your nostril, it doesn't become anything else. Simply air. So they say that there is no difference between prana and vayu. But if that is the case, then how is that here it is said it is coming out from Tejasa and there it is said it is coming out from Tamas, ignorance. So about this, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that तत्र तामस अहंकार कार्यो अनिल एव प्राण रूपेण तेजस अहंकार कार्योपि भवति इति ज्ञेयः. He says that this air, which was the product of tamas ahankar, ego in the mode of ignorance, that itself becomes manifest as prana from the mode of passion, ego in the mode of passion. So that is his opinion. Of course, he does not explain how it happens. How is that the air is coming from tamas, and then that also comes from rajas, and it is called prana. What is actually the distinction between the two? Are there two different things? He doesn't say, because he says anila eva prana rupini. It is air only which takes the form of prana, not something else. Which means that air is coming from tamas, which is all pervading, but when it is inside the body and it is helping to make our senses function, then it is called prana, but now it is a product of mode of passion. How exactly is not mentioned, because all the functions in our body, the movements of our hand and feet, or even movement of our eyelids or the digestive system, it all depends on the air. And this is accepted here in Bhagavatam, it is also accepted in yoga system. That's why they have this whole description about pranayama, so that you can control your body. Because if you control your body, then you can control your mind. So they also accept this, that all these movements in the body are dependent on prana. Otherwise, the bodily limbs cannot function. Do pani, do means hands, medra, upastha, medra means procreative organ, payu, vidam, payu means the anus. Kramastu atra na vivakshita. So here the order is not important, because it is not that he has just given each in the order, but they are just listed. So now he has described that there was Prakriti or Pradhan, then came Mahatattva, then came ego. So these are the three elements. Then came 5 Tanmatras and 5 material elements. So that became 13. 3 plus 5 plus 5. Then you got mind, 14. And the 10 demigods, 24. And then you got 10 senses, 34. So these are the 34 manifestations, all from the matter. And of course there is living entity along with it, 35, because without that nothing happens. So this universe came into existence, and also the individual bodies came into existence. But now he says that they did not mix together. All these elements came separate. It's like you have a machine and you get all the parts, but they are not assembled. So for assembly, you need a technician who knows which part has to fit where. So all the parts were created from nature with the help of Kala, Karma and Swabhava, yet they were not mixed together. So for that he says, Yadete asangata bhava bhutendriya manogunaha yadayatana nirmane na shekur brahmavittam. Brahma says that, O Narada, the knower of the Absolute, all these things, the material elements, the senses, the mind, and the modes, they did not get mixed up and make up a body. They did not take any shape. They remain separate. That means mind was hanging somewhere, intellect is hanging in another place, the eye is hanging somewhere, the nose elsewhere. Not that we have a body and everything is together in one place. So they were all separate. There was no concert. Everybody was singing its own song, individually, independent of the other. So the concert will happen when they all come together and cooperate. But for that you need one conductor. So that was Lord. And it is Lord who inspired Tada Samhyatya Chanyonyam Bhagavad Shakti Choditaha Sada Sattva Mupadaya Chobhyam Sasvijibhyam. So then, being inspired by the energy of the Lord, Bhagavad Shakti Chodita, they came together. That's why it is necessary that there has to be one controller behind any creation. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if you are making an oven, then there has to be one person in charge. And under his or her guidance, everything has to happen. Whether he does it himself or he engages others, but in charge has to be him. Otherwise it will not happen. So all these elements are there, and they are also living entities, conscious beings, and they have their karma and swabhava and kal is there. But yet the body did not come into existence. So when Lord gave his order, inspiration here means he gave the order that this has to go in this place, mind has to go here, the sense has to go here. Then things accumulated, formed a body, and Ubhayam Sasriju, two types of body, the cosmic body of the universal body and also the individual bodies. Sada Saptam Upadaya, small bodies, big bodies, medium size, variety. And one thing evolving from another one, because Sada Sat also means cause and effect. So then there was an evolution. Like science is talking about evolution of the bodies. And there was amoeba, and then came cell, and then something else. So it also evolved like this. All the ingredients were created, and then these ingredients, they evolved and made various types of bodies. Small, then little big and bigger and so on. And also the universal body was made. But this body which came into existence, it was lifeless. Did not move, did not function, did not do anything. So it says, Varsha Puga Sahasrante Tadandam Udakeshayam Kala Karma Svabhavastho Jivo Jivam Ajivayat. That this remained like this for 1000 years, lying on the causal waters. We have read earlier that there is a lot of water all around. Even on this planet, so much water. So all this body, it just remained in the water, around the water. Then after 1000 years, by the influence of time, karma and swabhava, the Lord, he made it alive. Because just making the body was not sufficient. Then it was infused with life. Jivo, ajivam, ajivayat. Jiva means the Lord, and ajivam means lifeless, and ajivayat means he infused it with life. So this is how it came into life. एवं कारण सृष्टिम उक्त्वा कार्य सृष्टिम आह यदा एते असंगतः अमिलिता आसन् अतएव यदा आयतनस्य शरीरस्य निर्माणे न शेको. So now after saying the Karan Srishti means all the causes, because first we have to have the ingredients which are the cause, and now Karya Srishti, the end product. So the end product is the body of various types, the various living beings. So this did not happen because these things they did not combine together to form a body. So then Lord, He inspired it after 1000 years have passed. तदा भगवतः तेषु एव प्रविष्टस्य शक्त्या संहनन कारुण्या चोदिता योजिता सन्त सदसत्वं मुख्य गौण भावम् उपादाय स्वीकृत्य उभयं समष्टि वस्त्रात्मकम् अदय अंडरूपं शरीरं सस्यम्. So then the Lord, by the use of the energy which was inside it already, He combined them and made something as prominent and the other as secondary and made a body, both the individual bodies and the aggregate body of the universe. So that became the universal egg. And this universal egg then was lying on the water. Varsh pugai varsh samuhair yat sahasre tadante. And 1000 years passed away like this. It was still lying on the water. Then jivo hiranya garbha antaryami purusha jiveti iti vitpatya. So the word jiva here, the word jiva is used for conditioned soul, living being. But in this verse, the word jiva is used for the Lord. Because He is the one who brings life. The root jiva means to live. And it is this, it is Lord who gave life to the body, therefore He is also called jiva. Therefore it says, jivayati iti jiva, which infuses life into the body, is called jiva. So because Lord is the first person to infuse life into the universal form or Hiranyagarbha, therefore He is the first jiva. And then individual jivas, living entities, are also called jiva because they give life to the individual bodies. Ajivam achetanam andam ajivayat chetayati smayati Parmeswarasya Anvaya Ukta. So this this egg was without any life, and He infused light in him. So this is how Lord has entered into everything. So He created, and then after creating He has entered into it. So this is the most unique thing about the Lord, that He has this inconceivable power, that He creates and Creator is outside what He creates, and then He enters in it. And while entering inside, He also remains outside. So this only He can do. And this is what defies logic. Because logically it is not possible that you are sitting inside a house and yet you are outside the house. So He pervades everything and yet He is outside everything. There is nothing which is outside Him. So that is His supreme opulence, His power to do that. And that is being described, that he was outside and then he also entered. So Parmeswarasya Anvaya. Anvaya here means that he went into everything. Anuvayati iti Anvaya. There was nothing in which he did not enter. And that's why he is called Purusha. Because he enters into every place, he makes everything as his house. So that is the meaning of Purusha. Saiva Purushas Tasmad Andam Nirbhidya Nirgata Sahasrorvangri Bhavaksha Sahasranana Sirshavan. And then that Lord who has entered inside this egg, then he broke the egg and he came out of it. And when he came out, he has a very wonderful form. He had thousands of legs, thousands of feet, thousands of arms, thousands of faces. Everything was in thousands. So then he came out of it. So now this form will be described in the upcoming verses. And this is again that universal form, seeing the whole universe as his body. Sarva Vyapakatvad Avyatirekam Aha. He is all pervading, and therefore it is described here that nothing exists without him. Saeva Hiranya Garbha Antaryami Purusha Tasmaditi Lebloke Panchami. That very person who was the super soul of Hiranyagarbha, he came out. Tam Hiranyagarbham pravishya sthitopi andam nirbhidya nirgata tadvastita. He entered it, then he came out. When he came out, he did not come out completely, he also remained inside. He went in and then he came out, but he was also inside. So this is what he is saying, that he is inside, he is also outside. And that describes, this is only to describe his all-pervading feature. Andam nirbhidya nirgata tad bahistita kidrisha san ityapekshayam karnanavastham tasya sviyam nirgunam swarupam aya sahasraya. So then his form is described. And this is what is described in Purushukta Sahasra Sirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. So that is the Purusha who is situated in the Karnana, because this egg was hanging in the causal ocean. And then he broke the egg, he came out of it. And that was Karnana outside. Yet he broke the egg doesn't mean that the egg was smashed. It also remained and he was also inside it. So now in the upcoming verses there will be a description of again the universal form. And as I said, there is a lot of repetition about this universal form and Sankhya. It comes many times in this chapter and the next chapter, or next canto also it will come. And sometimes it is in short and then little more details are given and then further more details are given. That's how the subject has been introduced. We'll stop here.
About this development of the body, that it's like to have one sense and then the capacity capacity to function. So the everybody has different capacity to see or to hear or to smell. So same for the Buddhi. Everybody has different, and what makes it developing then?
What makes it?
The Buddhi develop like in a child, as you say, no? Child
Development is kal, karma and swabhava.
yeah,
According
but is
to
it a fixed
time,
amount?
karma and swabhava.
Okay, like for everybody, every other function.
So this thousands is allegorical or
It means unlimited. Cannot count.
innumerable?
It means innumerable.
And another thing about this period, that the whole elements in this egg, they are lying on the water, or they say this
1,000.
1,000. So,
Just 1,000 doesn't always means 1,000. Could be just a long period.
yeah, just about, it has a purpose. No?
Just like in India, they say, I'll come back in 5 minutes. So now this 5 minutes is not according to the watch 5 minutes. It doesn't mean 5 minutes. And those who don't know this, they get confused or disturbed that what is this? He said 5 minutes, already 25 minutes have passed. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. So 5 minutes means what? It's just a way of saying you have to say something. You cannot say just give me some minutes. And some means what? So you say 5. So like that 1,000.
Sometimes. But it has a, it's like an ingredient, or
Because
is it?
1,000 according to whose calculation? Or 1,000 or Brahma's 1,000 or Garbhodaksha is 1,000. They all have their different years, their time scales. So whose 1,000 is it?
This 10 demigods who control the 10 senses. Now, how do they control? To what extent do they control, and to what extent is it our own control? Like seeing or smelling, whatever.
Well, they're not controlling
Or they're just
consciously.
presiding, making sure that it functions. Or
They're just there basically. It's not that they're consciously exercising control and then only it's going to function. But what it means is that it is necessary for this to function, that they are existing. Without their existence, the sense cannot function. That doesn't-
So the word presiding deity is the proper word to say they're just like
Yeah,
without taking action, just watching over.
just presiding over it.
They are also living entities, no? But they came from element, and Jiva is different.
Then they also have their body. So it means that the body is developed from that. Jiva is not created from matter. So their bodies have to be created. Because one who is going to preside over hand has to have one type of body, one who is going to preside over the nose has to have another type of body. So the body is developed from ahankar in the mode of goodness. That's what it means.
Who is the presiding deity of ear?
It's called Dasa. There is one demigod called Dasa.
I have seen where he said,
He lives in the direction.
in the direction. He's everywhere.
No, direction is only one.
Never heard about it.
Desa.
Disha, Disha.
Desa. And about this energy in the vayu and in the prana.
Therefore, when your ears are disturbed, you can also forget about the directions. Which direction is which side, you get confused.
Actually, big sound can create confusion. A big sound,
Big sound?
if some sound happen suddenly and is a strong big sound, then you can become confused. You don't know where to go.
Yes.
It's interesting that all these 10 demigods are all male.
Well, they have their female counterparts. Indra has Indrani and Varuna has Varuni. Everybody is there. Except for moon. Moon is supposed to be neutral. The moon has 27 wives. But the word manas is neutral gender in Sanskrit.
And it works on the mind.
So mind is actually just thinking, doesn't do anything.
So the power of prana is the energy, no? And without
Prana
this
means power.
power. So without that power, there nothing is working. Outside and inside.